As an American, we're always talking about the forgotten war. Especially as of now, it's really not forgotten since we're always talking about that forgotten war, which might actually become unforgotten, the unforgotten war, since it might become the war. But today we're not here to talk about the Vietnam War. Today we'll be covering the Western Sahara conflict, aka Africa's forgotten war. Not really, unless you're a Western audience. Then in that case, you most likely didn't even hear about this war until now. Or, I really shouldn't name stuff. The conflict started here, in Africa. If you want to be more specific, it started out here in the Maghreb. And to be more exact, it was in the Western Sahara. If you didn't know, during the years of the late 1800s and early 1900s, we had a thing called the Scramble for Africa. To put it short, European countries were like, "Oh, would you look at that dark-skinned fellow? Wanna enslave him to me?" This led to most of Africa being colonized until the era of decolonization, in which European countries began to leave the continent. In some cases peacefully, in other cases violently. Morocco was one of these countries. Able to gain their independence in 1956, they laid claim to the Western Sahara region, as they had ruled the region before they were colonized. Second claim was followed up by Mauritania, also claiming the region before they even gained independence. So talk about being early to a party. But now let's talk about just Western Sahara. The Maghreb region already had a history of revolts against the colonial powers. The one in 1970 would be a very important one in Western Sahara. As Africa began to gain freedom, people in the Western Sahara, called the Sahrawi people, began to protest. As the protests continued, the call for self-determination and freedom became more and more prevalent. Most of these protests were peaceful, but like most peaceful protests under colonial rule, they were crushed. While the protests were peaceful, the Spanish forces were having none of it and tried to disperse these crowds. One thing led to another, and in one of these protests a rock was tossed, or a steel chair, depending on who you may ask. So the Spanish would do the most reasonable thing. They would open fire on unarmed protesters. This would lead to over 100 people being wounded and 7 people being killed. Following this incident, the peaceful leader, Mohamed Bouzidi, was later killed. He disappeared with the help of Spanish forces. This and other horrible things turned the mostly peaceful protesters to adopt the ideas of an armed struggle. By 1971, the Polisario Front was made, and they were on the offensive into Western Sahara, taking land against the Spanish. Due to this insurrection and outside political pressure, one of these political pressures being the Moroccan Green March, in which Morocco pushed Spain's hand by sending over 350,000 civilians and 20,000 troops into Spanish Sahara. The Green March never faced conflict with the Spanish army, but they did face some conflict with the Polisario Front. You could call it a Moroccan invasion of Western Sahara, or a nation retaking their land and fighting off the last remains of colonization. However you view it, the Spanish would then sign the Madrid Accords, in which they would give away their land to Morocco and Mauritania. While the Moroccan and Mauritanian government loved this idea, the Polisario Front didn't. When Morocco and Mauritania forces began to move into Western Sahara, fighting happened, not just between the Polisario Front, but also with Algerian forces, as Algeria supported the Polisario Front since they countered their rival. While all the fighting was happening, the Polisario Front proclaimed the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. As the war progressed, Sahrawi forces were able to inflict losses on Moroccan forces, mostly by using guerrilla warfare and hit-and-run tactics. On the Mediterranean front, while French forces fought side by side with the Mediterranean army, Sahrawi forces were able to attack the country and even attack the capital. While the attack on the capital was fought off, other bad military and political things and just bad stuff overall led to the Mediterranean government coupping the current government and accepting a peace deal with the Polisario Front. Due to this, Morocco would claim the whole region without the Mediterraneans really countering it or caring. Now on to the Moroccan front. On the Moroccan front, Sahrawi forces were pushed away from the economic parts of the region. To consolidate their control from Polisario attacks, the Moroccan government constructed huge walls over the regions they controlled. With both sides now stuck in a stalemate as no one could go past the wall or through the wall, both sides went to the peace tables. A ceasefire was made, and even though there were talks of a referendum, nothing was set in stone. As of now, the conflict's ongoing, with both sides stuck in the world's longest staring competition. While throughout the years there have been incidents between the borderline. There was never any flat-out combat like how it was during the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So, now you know about Africa's Forgotten War. Not really, unless you're a Western audience. But then again, most Western audiences don't know about wars in third world countries. So, yeah, war. Like I said, I shouldn't be allowed to name stuff. If you like the video, please check out my newest video or whatever YouTube recommends to you. Also, check out that video. I don't know what that video is. It could be anything. If you liked it, why not even subscribe? Also, we're about to hit 100 subscribers, or Bazastanians, and I was planning to release a 100 subscriber, hey, thank you, what's up everybody, and all that type of stuff. But then I had 100 subscribers, and I checked the next day to have 99 subscribers, and then 199. And since I had to either do a 100 subscriber script or this one, I just went with this to be safe. So when we do hit 101 subscribers and we don't drop back to 99, I will then work on the video so that halfway through editing, I don't check my YouTube channel and I only got 99. But I'm just amazed we got 100, and I'll go deeper into it when I do release a video. And see you guys later. Bazistan Zindabad.